right, let's consider this physics question. The angular dispersion of a prism depends on dash. A, the index of refraction only. B, the angle of incidence as well as the index of refraction. C, the angle of incidence only. D, the thickness of the prism. And E, the prism angle. Very good. So this is a question on refraction of light. So through a triangular prism. So this question needs you to understand how white light behaves as it passes through a triangular prism. Oh, and the dispersion of the light spectrum actually depends on about 4 things. So first of all, let me draw a triangular prism. So it's particularly, or most especially, an equilateral triangle. So now you know that an equilateral triangle is made up of 60 degrees all through. 60 degree, 60 degree. So this 60 degree is what we call the angle of prism. The angle of prism, or you call it the prism angle. So the light that passes through this prism also, it depends on this angle. That's number one thing. So now, if a white light is incident on the prism at this point, so this is the incident ray, as it enters into the prism, it refracts straight. So, and then it comes out as the emergent ray. It comes out as the emergent ray. So now, this is the part that the light is supposed to continue with. As it's coming like this, it's supposed to go straight like this, but it bends. So you can see that it bends away like this. So as it bends away, there is an angle created here. This angle is known as the deviation. Why this angle is known as the emergent ray? This is known as the incident ray. So now, as we can extend this line also. So this line indicates the incident angle. This is the incident angle. Now, this incident angle, so this is incident ray. Why this is the angle of incidence? So the angle of incidence. So the light spectrum also depends, that is the angular dispersion also depends on this. How many things now? Angle of prism, the angle of incidence. Next, another thing that white light that passes through a triangular prism also depends on. It depends on the refractive index of glass. So, you know, depending on the material of that glass. So refractive index has to do with the material that the glass prism is made up of. So that's another thing. That is refractive index. So some materials will allow light to disperse more, while some will allow light to disperse a little bit. So refractive index is also known as angle or index of refraction, or you call it index of refraction. So making 3. So another thing that light that passes through a triangular prism depends on is the color itself. So for example, red color has the highest dispersion. It has the highest wavelength, followed by orange. So if you follow Roy Beef, so this is the acronym, Roy Beef. So orange is the next, yellow is the next, then green is the next. After that, we have blue, we have indigo, and we have violet. So depending on the wavelength, so the color also, so that means 4 things now. First, angle of prism, second, angle of incidence, third, refractive index, and then the color itself. So if you check the options, you will see that, okay, if they say prism depends on the index of refraction only. So are we talking about the refractive index only? No. So check option B, the angle of incidence as well as index of refraction. This, we can look at this. This is making sense, but we can't conclude yet. Let's go for C, the angle of incidence only. This cannot be the answer. It's just part of it. The next one, the thickness of the prism. So there's nothing that talk about thickness of prism here. So this cannot be the answer. The prism angle only. No, this can also not be the answer. But B is most likely the best answer that we can go for, because it has to do with angle of incidence and as well as index of refraction, which is refractive index. Thank you.